but it was bad.
You look like you're about to like throw up.
Oh no, I'm not gonna throw
Joe,
up. I just
before
have,
you
Joe was dying.
Sorry to our fans that are like, can you fucking stop talking over each other? Like, we don't even get a minute into the podcast and me and Maggie are already going over.
But like that's just the way that our brain works. Like I can process what you're saying at the same time as I'm talking.
Yeah.
Joe said that?
No, Joe was dying.
Oh yeah, Joe was dying. Like we
okay.
got on. He's like choking.
She goes, "Are you okay?"
Okay, yeah, I think that one thing, like with ADHD, your brain is processing everything so quickly that you can barely get a handle on it. So like, yeah, I know what you're saying and I know what I need to respond to what you're saying before you're even done.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm going to forget. But also I feel like a lot of people talk over each other in conversation. Like, is that not normal? Like, I know it's kind of annoying when you're listening to something, but isn't that what everybody does?
I would say, yeah, like in most of my friendships.
So. Yeah. I guess I don't really have that many
friends.
We take turns. No, just saying that we take turns. Like one of my friends, we were talking, we call it like squirrel talk because we literally, in like an hour period of a conversation, we have like 5 different topics and we like bounce from here to here to here to here back to the first one. And then we like circle back to the third topic and then like come back to the first one again, finish up a thought on it, and then like move to like it's just the best.
Yeah. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. It might look a little bit different to you guys. We are not together anymore.
Sadly.
We're back home. But we have a new cover photo, which is
I'm so excited.
Cute. Actually, at the point that we're saying this, we haven't actually officially decided on what we're using.
But basically.
But
we pretty much did.
I'm excited about a lot of options, and it's going to be up by the time this episode comes out. So,
and it's like so cute. Like it feels professional.
It's perfect. I was worried because we did them ourselves. Like I had the camera screen on my phone and I was like clicking the capture button to take the photos, and like we couldn't really see what the fuck our faces were doing. And honestly, I was in a bad mood when we were doing it because I just didn't want to be working, and like the day was almost over. Like I was just like so annoyed.
We like had planned a pool day.
Yeah.
God. And we got in the pool at like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
sun was setting.
Was not even freaking hitting the pool anymore.
That's so funny. But they did turn out so good. Like we planned to hire a photographer, but then we like just procrastinated and weren't able to find one. But I feel like it ended up working out.
Yeah, I'm glad we just did it ourselves.
I'm kind of glad we did too, because we really didn't know exactly what we wanted the cover to look like. So we got to experiment a lot. And like, I don't really know how it is necessarily working with a photographer. Like, I know they like let you look at the pictures like throughout, but we were able to kind of like analyze all of our faces and see like what we liked, what we didn't like, the poses, and we were able to really like mess around and try.
And I'm not sure how that would work with the editing. Like if they would just give us all the raw photos.
Yeah. I'm sure like that's the complicated thing, because like we are also creative and photographers. Like, I just really needed someone to hold the camera. Like if I could have brought my sister up there to shoot the pictures for us, that would have sufficed.
Yeah.
We just had to use a tripod, but
yeah,
I want control. And also we didn't need a photographer because like, it's like, we just need one good picture and then we can edit it. We can take over from there. We didn't have time for a whole photo shoot or anything.
No. We definitely planned for one though.
Yeah,
our planning just didn't really pan out with everything.
Well, hopefully next time, Britt, you won't have to like work.
I know
she will.
Well, hopefully I have like more of a team next time.
Yeah,
true. But it was all time management. It wasn't just those few hours in the morning. I think just everything took slower.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
But yeah, let us know if you like our cover. Well, let's make the Spotify prompt about the cover or something.
Okay.
Well, don't tell us if you don't like it, because
only tell us if you love it. Don't tell us if you don't like it. If you have a positive opinion, please share.
We don't need any negative feedback on the cover that we're very proud of.
I think people will like it because like everyone was replying to our stories that all the setups were cute and everything. So I think that they should like the cover.
I agree.
And we hope having just real faces in the cover will help people find us and want to listen.
I am actually curious about people's first impressions of like our cover, like our old cover, and then like getting to know us and everything. If it like connected for them, or if this new one is like, oh, this is like a way better representation of like our personalities, our podcast, and just us in general.
I think so. Like I probably would not have clicked on our cover if I just saw it on Spotify, the original one.
That's pretty fair.
Because
we get a lot of impressions.
People.
Like a lot of like people are like viewing the podcast.
Yeah, I wonder if that will go even up though.
I think it will, because people will be able to put an actual face to the voice.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first podcast I ever listened to is My Favorite Murder, and they don't have pictures of themselves on the cover. Yeah. It's just like their logo. Really? And I had no fucking clue what either of them looked like for like the longest time. And then I finally saw a video of them talking, and I was like, what the fuck? Their voices do not match their faces.
All podcasts used to be like when you'd build up a whole idea of what someone looked like in your head, and then you'd see them. Like Monica. I remember the first time I saw Monica.
Oh, yeah.
From my God, I was like, what?
Know what she like fully looks like. I need to look her up. I like keep from meaning to like look her up.
She's beautiful.
She's cute. She looks like a little mouse.
But I just, what was I gonna say about? Oh, I also feel like sometimes like when people are just posting their dogs on Instagram, I create like a whole persona for like who the person behind the account is.
Same.
And then when I see them, sometimes I'm like, whoa, like, that is
or
not what I expected.
I don't know if you guys were ever big into Twitter, but like for me with Twitter, especially like fan Twitter, pages. People would have pictures of like Lady Gaga, like random pictures. And I would just imagine that they are Lady Gaga, like they are that picture that they have as their profile picture.
Yeah.
And then like you see them for real and you're like, what the fuck?
Or just their username and you're like,
yeah.
This girl is talking on, I forgot, I think it's Madison Humphrey. She does a lot of those like impersonations, like the apartment like leasing off agent person.
Oh, yeah.
She does like a lot of those type of impersonations and sketches. But she was saying like for books, this is kind of like tangent, but for books, she like imagines herself as the character. Do you guys ever do that? Like
if it's written in first person, then yeah.
Typically.
Okay. I kind of do too. Sometimes I imagine a character, but like I'm still the character, even though like I'm different.
Or it's not always me, but I do like I almost never picture them as the way that the author describes in the book. Like if you ask me about any book, the way that they're described or like their hair colors or anything, I have no idea. I just like imagine that in my mind.
Yeah, I have to make a conscious effort to be like, okay, what do they look like again? And then imagine them and be like, okay, and then I forget about it again. Like,
yeah. I do too.
That's so interesting because I wonder if like the author and then when they make the movies of the book, like I wonder if that's really their vision of the person, and then we're all like, what the fuck, why would they look like that?
Yeah.
But now that the strike is over,
oh yeah,
we all the movies will start happening.
Yes. Oh my God, this reminds me of something I wanted to ask you guys about. Have you guys been seeing any of like the press quotes from Jacob Elordi?
I just saw one where he said that the kissing booth was a bad movie.
He is so stupid.
Why would he say that?
I don't know. And then he also said that he was asked to be in Superman, but he turned it down because it was too dark. Sir, you're in Euphoria, the darkest fucking show. I just keep seeing quotes from him because he's like on a press tour right now, and I'm just like, you are so what?
Isn't the Priscilla movie dark too? It's about him doing drugs and cheating.
Yes. And also the main one that I was like, this dude is so stupid when he said the only thing I knew about Elvis was from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yeah,
when he played before, like when he got the role as Elvis.
Does he have a publicist? Because they are probably
know.
Dying.
He is so dumb.
Little clips being taken from his conversation.
But also, okay, then when I think of it, like, do publicists like that because then it's being talked about, or are they like
no good?
Yeah, all press. Yeah,
I wonder. But I guess it's also, I'm sure it's kind of like part of it is like with a publicist, like they're trying to present an image to the world.
Yeah.
And so like sometimes like all press is good press is like helpful, but I'm sure that there's some situations where like if the person's trying to be taken more seriously,
well, he's not.
And like that's what they're trying to go for.
Well, it's like the Snow White girl too. That's all her interviews came out. She's like, I didn't like Snow White. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
like,
what's going on with people these days? Young actors, Gen Z.
So bizarre.
That is interesting. What else have you guys been doing since Palm Springs?
I got ringworm.
Oh yeah. How is it?
It's like I don't know much about ringworm at first. When my mom first saw my ringworm thing,
I mean, we definitely thought it was ringworm immediately.
Yeah, but I was like, why would I have ringworm? Like,
did
I was
you bring
like,
it up in
like
Palm
ringworm?
Springs?
Yeah,
me
and it
Maggie
didn't itch or hurt.
I don't know where you were. Yeah, so I was like, I think it's just a mosquito bite, but
a round circular mosquito bite.
Well, also like I'd never had ringworm, and my mom made me feel like if I touch the ringworm and then touch another part of my body, then it's going to spread to that part. Like I thought that I couldn't touch. No, so it's kind of like chicken pox, where like it gets into your body and then your body gets them all out, kind of, I guess. So I have like 30 little spots all over my body.
What?
30? But
wait, dude, I didn't realize that. I thought
they don't look
was
like
one
ringworm.
spot.
Yeah, so it's one spot, like the point of origin, and then
wait,
you just get like
point of
little...
origin means that literally a worm entered your leg at that point.
It's a bacterial infection.
Wait,
on your
it's
skin.
not an actual worm.
No, oh my god,
I
would be freaking out if I had a worm.
Wait, but how come when dogs get like ringworm? I thought that was worms.
I don't know.
And you got to get like dewormer.
They get like legit worms. And
yeah, they can get worms. It's not ringworm. Oh my god!
Why would they name
worm? It? Because I think it looks like like a worm. Like the bacteria forms like a worm. Like
interesting.
Yeah, I guess it could be like a little bit raised and stuff. So you can buy over the counter bacterial ointment, and then my mom also prescribed me a prescription topical, but the pharmacy is taking forever to get it ready for me. So, but yeah, all of my spots are just like these.
I can't even see it. I don't know. You're like fuzzy.
I can see
screen.
it.
But I believe
they're just little.
It looks almost like little burns. Like when
like
you
little
nick
scabs.
yourself with a straightener.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt or itch.
I thought it was one spot, and then
sometimes it itches, but sometimes it doesn't. I don't know.
Dang,
it's just annoying. It takes
you're
forever
okay.
to like heal.
Yeah,
but other than that, it's not like life threatening or like you even need antibiotics or anything.
No,
it's just like annoying.
So does your mom know how you like got it?
She thinks from a cat. Because I guess cats can carry it in from outside.
But they wouldn't show anything on them.
Well, they can, but a lot of times they are just like asymptomatic.
And their fur would cover it.
Their fur would fall out if they actually had it in like a circle.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
But my cats don't have that, so I don't know.
That's so interesting.
Damn.
Well, I hope it goes away soon.
I just realized there's a bunch of leaves in my...
What the fuck is that?
Because I had to chase... Willow sometimes in the morning when I let her out to go potty goes and like eats shit. I don't know what she's eating, but like underneath the bushes in my backyard. So I have to go underneath the bushes and grab her, and I just have a bunch of...
You're really going through it, Dev.
I know.
I know, it's still very early in the morning.
Don't have animals. Moral of the story. Pets are disgusting.
That's funny. What have you been doing, Britt?
Max, did you like literally come back from Palm Springs and then like a few days later go to Vegas?
Yeah.
I don't know how you did that.
That's what I said. I didn't know how I was going to do it either. But it was so fun. It was good. It was my cousin's 40th birthday, and his wife like set it up where there was multiple surprises of everyone coming. So like he didn't know he was going to Vegas, and she told him that the day before. And then like my brother, my dad, and my dad's girlfriend were at the airport when they got to the airport and like walked up and surprised them. And then his dad was there when they got to the airport in Vegas. And then me and my sister came like when they were at the casino a little bit later. So it was like people just kept coming. And it was so fun.
That is so fun.
I love so cute. Surprises like that.
Yeah.
Did you guys do like any shows or anything?
No, we didn't do any shows. There was like not a lot of options. We almost had Usher, but the tickets were pretty expensive for Usher. And then we were like, we would maybe just, because we only were there 3 nights. So we were like, maybe we should just hang out and we'd have more fun doing that and not spending a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. But it was very fun. We just like hopped around casinos basically and gambled and chilled out and everything. And I did have a realization, because we talked about this before, of like my alone time and like leaving the hotel room or whatever to get alone time.
Yeah.
I realized that doesn't, when I'm like, if I was going down in the hotel and the hotel is still packed with a bunch of people, but I'm just going alone to get coffee, that doesn't give me any like peace. Yeah. Like I'd rather be in the hotel room with my brother-in-law both reading.
Yeah.
That gives me more peace than like just being alone with a bunch of people around.
Yeah. That's really good to know.
It's like the stimulation levels.
Yeah, it was very interesting. So that's good to know. And then my sister and her husband, they ended up getting a different room the second night because my sister did not sleep whatsoever because of my cough and Cameron's snore.
Oh my God.
And then we
that's
established.
Kind of nice.
Yeah, we established that was the last time that we will all share a hotel room.
Oh my God.
We need to get separate hotel rooms for
That's very good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wait, your sister and your brother, did your brother have a different hotel room too?
He stayed with my dad and his girlfriend.
How is that?
He doesn't like it. He would hang out with us until as late as possible.
I would not. I would just be like, nope, I will go into debt to get my own room.
The problem is we already all are in debt.
I remember when we used to have to like all cram into one hotel room with my mom and all my brother, like my brother and all my sisters, and like we would have to stay at like the shittiest hotels. I'm so glad we're past that. Like, ugh.
I know, isn't it? Like I would share a bed with my sister. My brother would get the little pull-out bed or whatever they would give us.
Yep.
I feel really lucky because my dad had so many hotel points that he would get like upgrades and like extra rooms and stuff. So we luckily were able to like have 2 rooms. Like my parents had their own room, and then we like had our room.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, for sure. I definitely would want to do that, hopefully, when I have children.
Yeah. But it was just because my dad, like, I didn't realize this until later. But the reason we were able to travel as much as we did is because my dad traveled so much. So he, like, had airline points, car points, and, like, hotel points. So he never, like, rarely did they ever spend any money on, like, the 3 most expensive things to get places.
My parents didn't travel a lot without us. Like, they'd probably do, like, every few years they'd go on a vacation alone. Me and Cameron were just talking about that, actually, of like scheduling, making sure that we still take vacations besides like family vacations when we have kids.
But it's hard. We were thinking about that too, because especially with like divorced parents now, like we're doing like a trip with my dad and like my mom's not there. So then like we were talking, okay, we have to like do a trip with my mom.
Exactly.
And then like holidays are split up between like me and Joe's family. And so that's like, I think we have 5.
It's a lot of trips.
We have like 5 trips. Oh, and then like we do Joe's ski family vacation. So I think that's like 6 trips in 1 year that are just family.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah, my mom's side likes to do a lot of like travel and trips. Like even if they're small trips, I feel like my brother's girlfriend is like, holy shit, I can't keep up with this. Like you're always wanting to travel and you're always wanting me to come.
Do you like his girlfriend?
Yeah, I love her.
That's awesome.
How long have they been
dating? Does she get along
dating?
well with your family?
Yeah, she's great. They've been dating for 2 or 3 years. I don't know. Time is just like
that's cute.
a time warp. I don't know. They live together.
I know, that is crazy how fast time goes.
Mm-hmm.
But me and my brother, we always argue about Taylor Swift because he's a little misogynistic hater. And I always tell him, I'm like, you're gay. You can't be misogynistic. Like, pull it together. He's the worst. But like, so it's literally 1:30 a.m. and he's in our hotel room and we're like eating pizza and my sister's like trying to fall asleep and we're just arguing about Taylor Swift, like just going off at each other. And she's like, guys, be quiet. Like it's 2 a.m. and you're just arguing about Taylor Swift. And then my brother like got up and he slammed the hotel room door and walked out. It was so funny.
Why do people so passionately hate Taylor Swift? Is it just
it was kind of
so famous?
I saw the video that you posted and literally that's basically his opinion almost. He was like, I was starting to like her and then like just everything, she's just really taking all the attention at all the games and everything. I'm like, that's literally not her. That's the fucking NFL. Like the
also,
NFL,
the NFL is living for it. They are
exactly
up, like
I watch
crazy.
Cardinals every Sunday and don't see anything about Taylor Swift, so I don't.
Or like in
the
Ravens game yesterday, the announcers literally made like a comment about whatever. Like she's not even there. Like the NFL is just saying things. And then his other thing is just that she has no positive songs about anyone. She only shits on people and shits on her ex-boyfriends. I'm like, you literally haven't listened to her music.
Songs? Yeah, what the fuck?
Goodbye. Like
that's why I also hate when people hate on like Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians. I'm like,
I know.
Why? You're just
Did
mad.
you see
she
that
she got the cover of GQ?
Men are going to be so fucking mad.
Oh my god, wait, that's so cool.
Yeah, the Men of the Year cool. GQ cover.
Is the picture out or no?
Yeah, it's on GQ.
She posted it on hers too.
See it. Did she? She hadn't posted it when I looked.
It's really sad that her and Taylor Swift don't get along because Taylor Swift's song would be perfect.
I know. I hope though, because
literally perfect.
I hope when Reputation TV comes out that like there's bonus tracks, vault songs about Taylor Swift.
I fucking love this Kim, so much.
Oh yeah, about Kim. That's what
her fucking caption is high. I'm the GQ Man of the Year.
Oh my god, I love that.
Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift are the two biggest women in the world right now, and it's sad that they don't.
Isn't Beyonce too?
I don't.
Oh my god, this picture.
Hear that much about Beyonce. I know everybody fucking loves Beyonce and like she's the queen and everything, but like, what is she doing right now? I don't really know.
Her Renaissance tour, I think.
Yeah, but I
it's like
don't
massive.
See people talking about it.
These pictures,
aren't they amazing?
Oh my god, this is so fucking The Man by Taylor Swift.
What
the? That would be the perfect.
Yeah, that would be a really good resolution. Because doesn't Kim just not like her because of Kanye?
Yeah.
Well, so, I don't know. If
Kim released. Yeah, Kim released audio recordings of a phone conversation between Taylor Swift and Kanye West that made Taylor look stupid. So
David Portnoy, he posted a video while he's on a plane. Literally, he's flying and he's like, "I'm on a plane, guys, reporting from 10,000 feet." And he's like, "Kim should be in jail for this. She should be in jail for releasing that phone call." He's just so funny.
But she's a lawyer, so
I know.
Kim is like literally. I can't believe Kim Kardashian is real. Honestly,
yeah.
Those are the most iconic pictures. I cannot wait to hear all the hate.
Yeah, they thought the Barbie movie was bad.
I also heard that like all the Grammy nominations is like mostly women. Like there's only one male nominated for like album of the year. There's like no males in all the Grammy nominations.
I'm trying to think.
It's the year of the woman.
Aurora was nominated. Daisy Jones and the Six.
That's very exciting.
I know.
Who are they nominated against? Do you know who the other people are?
Barbie, I think. Barbie will probably
like
win.
Dua Lipa?
The soundtrack. It's
the whole album?
Yeah.
Oh.
For a visual medium. Soundtrack album for a visual medium. I don't know.
Fuck, Sadie's literally whining to go pee right now. Like, why? I feel like you don't need to go that badly. I'll just ignore her for a bit. See if she persists. Okay, so today we're going to talk about alcohol and our relationships with alcohol and our thoughts on alcohol, because we were drinking a lot in Palm Springs and talking about drinking and how we've like all been kind of drinking more frequently.
I've been drinking less frequently.
I've been trying to drink less, but I do want to put a disclaimer on this episode. Like, I feel like I'm going to be really open and honest about my feelings about alcohol, and I don't want anyone commenting that like any of us have a problem or problem with alcohol or anything like that. I feel like our feelings with alcohol are very universal and very relatable. But I feel like whenever I talk about alcohol, there are people who don't drink alcohol or that are alcoholics who like put their feelings and their relationship onto me and then like say like, oh, it sounds like you have a problem. It's like, I don't want to have to worry about those types of comments or feelings.
That makes sense. I agree. Retweet.
Is there like a Wreath? Is it Wreath thread now?
I don't know.
Oh, do you guys use Threads?
No.
Either.
I do, like, sometimes I look at it. I look at it now more than Twitter. Like, I do not go on freaking Twitter whatsoever.
Oh, really?
Anyway.
I still just go on Twitter.
My For You page, or whatever it is, what is it called?
Timeline?
For You.
Yeah, it's like just the most random things ever. Like, it's people in foreign countries. It's random.
Mine is
what is that?
Daisy Jones and the Six.
Do you think maybe it just needs to, like, I need to use it since
probably
he bought it and then it'll get my new algorithm?
Yeah.
Because it's like Cameron pulled his up the other day. It was like a woman breastfeeding. But like, one of those like educational videos, but she just pulled out her boob.
Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Yeah, very weird things. Okay, what do we want to start with? Like the first time we ever drank, or like...
Yeah, when did you guys start drinking?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay, well, my family has always been like pretty big drinkers my whole life. My grandpa was an alcoholic, my aunt was an alcoholic, everybody, a lot of people, all my older cousins. So I'm the baby of all of my first cousins. So all of my cousins are like 40 something. So I would be like 7, 8 years old and be watching them be very drunk at all parties and stuff. And I'd always be like, I don't want to do that. I don't like that. But like they always seemed like they were having fun and stuff. But it was more like I'd watch it and be like, ew, kind of thing. And I was very judgmental too in high school when my like friends would start drinking or when people would drink. I'd be like, oh my God, like what is wrong with you? Like you're a horrible person.
Yes,
I was like so judgmental. Yeah. My freshman and sophomore year.
I was like that with drugs when people started smoking. I was like, you are the devil.
Yeah. It's like it changes the way you see them.
But alcohol I was like fine with for people. I was like, whatever.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder like why that is, or just maybe our families and stuff. But the one day my dad went camping when I was a junior in high school, and my friend from beauty school came over and we had a sleepover, and we literally, my dad always has alcohol in his cabinets because he hosts all the family parties. So there's like Costco alcohol all the time. And we just like took the vodka and did shots, and we had no fucking perception of shots and how many to take or literally anything that. I think we took like 7 shots just almost immediately, like within an hour. And then we were just done. Like we were immediately on the toilet throwing up, and then we immediately fell asleep. And that was the whole night.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was not. I mean, it was like fine looking back. And I also sent really embarrassing like voice memos to people. And I sent voice memos in 2015 or 2014. It's scary.
It's straight to jail. Why did I do that?
Yeah, it was bad.
That's so funny. I feel like I'm like in the middle of like my cousins and my extended family. So like people are drinking, but like I think I was like around like 14 or 15 when like my grandparents and like aunts and uncles would like offer me a glass of wine or something.
Well, because you also have like all the England people. So it's like,
and Canada. So like Canada, the drinking age is 19. So like 15 is not that crazy. And then in England, I think it's like 18, but it's like I think you can drink
beer and wine at 16, I think, too.
Yeah, with your parents, like you can drink beer and wine. So that wasn't like a crazy like age to offer like alcohol. But I remember like the first time really drinking with my friends was at one of my friend's birthday parties, and we like snuck into her parents' like liquor, and we didn't even have shots. We were just like chugging from the bottle. And it went downhill like very quickly. But I think a lot of it, like when I first started drinking, a lot of it was just like approval and to like let loose and like allow myself to be like a different person, like step into like a different personality that was like more playful and like outgoing.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to think of
and then
like
I
the
remember
reasoning.
the next day, because like we had like gone out and like talked to like met up with boys and stuff, like we snuck out, and then the next day was like tryouts for volleyball or something, and like I had to get up. I like didn't throw up or anything. I wasn't like hungover the next day.
Oh yeah, like when you're 17, it's like back at it again.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
for, like,
always
we were like
hungover.
15, and that was like for my friend's 15th birthday. And then
Damn.
everyone was like talking about the next day, like, oh, like Brittany was so drunk, blah blah blah, and I was like what?
Looking back, do you think that you actually were that drunk and stuff too? Because I remember like my 13th birthday party, I had friends like they'd be like, I'm drunk, and like I don't think that they actually even like, I'm pretty sure they had like 2 sips of alcohol.
Yeah,
we like took pulls of vodka from
That is scary.
the bottle.
yeah.
Do you feel like you were educated like on like the dangers of alcohol before that?
I guess so, kind of.
I was scared to get drunk for the first time. Like I didn't know how I was going to feel. And I'm like, that's why I'm afraid. I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of like trying drugs that I haven't tried. Like I'm so afraid to do like shrooms or anything because I don't know. I don't know how it's going to feel. And I'm a control freak. So that's how I felt with alcohol. I didn't drink until I was 18.
So what was the time when you were 18?
I was like about to graduate high school, and my sister and her best friend Randy were having a sleepover, and they had already drank before at Randy's house. And I met them at her house to stay the night for some reason. I don't remember why. And they were like sneaking into the fridge in the garage and drinking her mom's Baileys. And since my younger friends were doing it, I was like, well, I have to do it too. So I did it. I don't know.
That's so funny because like, what is even the alcohol percentage on Baileys?
I know. And I think like one of my friends was totally faking it.
Yeah.
But then like we kind of also when I was with my dad, my dad was always out. I think we've talked about this before, but we would have sleepovers and my dad had a full bar. And so then like, I think once I was in college, we started having the sleepovers and we would like start drinking my dad's alcohol and
like he wouldn't notice it was gone.
I don't know if he noticed.
My parents always told me like the thing about if you refill it with water or whatever, and then like the water will freeze and that won't freeze, and people would know if you fill it with water. So I would never just fill. I would just like take the whole bottle. Like I would steal full handles because he would not see that as much.
Yeah. It's less
That's
obvious.
really funny.
Yeah, it's like less obvious.
That's goofy.
Yeah, but I was a goody-goody and I was afraid of everything. So,
did you like it that first time, or were you freaked out once you were drunk?
I think I liked it, but I still didn't ever really drink. I think once I started drinking at my dad's house, I would be like super hungover the next day. I didn't really start like drinking until I was maybe 25 or something.
I feel like I didn't have a lot of repercussions from drinking. Like I wasn't ever really hungover in high school. And so there was one time I was hungover. It was like at a New Year's party and I like wasn't allowed to go. And I went anyways.
So you got really drunk.
How? You just lied about where you were going?
I went to my friend's house and I said that we were staying there.
Oh, okay.
And then my friend drove us back because she was not drinking. And my dad was like parked in the driveway. And, like,
how did he know?
Parents are smart.
Don't trust teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that if my parents had just like let me go to more of those, like just go out and like do more of those things, it probably would have been like better and safer.
Like you would have done less, or like just been
I wouldn't have done less, but like it just probably would have been like they would have known where I was.
Yeah.
And like could help me if I needed it. I think that would have been better. Like my senior year of college or senior year of high school, my dad would drive us to parties instead.
Yeah.
And then like pick us up because he was like, I don't want
that's what parents should
anybody
do.
to not be drunk and driving. And
yeah, I agree. So, I think my mom did it perfectly, like because my dad never knew where I was. I would be random places very drunk and he would have absolutely no idea what was going on in my life, versus my mom, like she would at least always know where I was. Like I never lied about the location that I was at whatsoever. So she would like always be able to tell that. And she would always tell me like, we'll pick you up no matter what. If you call me, I'll always get you. And she got us after prom. That was the one time that she picked me up when I was drunk. And all my friends were like, thanks, Miss Susie. And I was like, this is so crazy.
Yeah. There's definitely times where like I would just drink too much though, but it was like where I would like take it too far, and it was like I was trying to fit in or just like I don't even know exactly what it was, but like I would be the most drunk person, and those were the times that I would get like anxiety the next day, and I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? Why did I do that? Kind of thing. But I think I'm like almost glad that I did that a little bit more in high school, so I could like understand a little bit more of it for like college, even though it still like happened in college too, like getting too drunk.
For me, with my dad's side of the family, like they are heavy drinkers, and they're like very like, I mean, my grandma's from England, and I just, maybe it's more of their like how they were raised in their culture. And I think my grandpa was like semi an alcoholic, but he was fine, but like he had a drinking problem probably, but it was back in the old days and nobody thought it was a big deal. But I just remember growing up, and my dad and uncle are so funny. I love them. I want their approval. And we would go visit my uncle every summer. And like once I was like 18, I would start getting pressured to drink by my uncle, and he'd be like, oh, you're no fun. You guys are no fun. You're not drinking. And my little sister is crazy. And my little sister would be like, oh yeah, I'll drink. I'll have whatever. And I'll be like, I don't really want to drink. Like, no, I don't like that. And so it was always this like, well, you're not cool because you're not getting drunk with us.
My family thinks everybody has a poop. That's why we invited you every time someone doesn't drink.
Yeah. And I do that. I'm trying to stop doing that because like, what's this weird dynamic of like when everybody's drinking and then one person isn't drinking, they're not fun. Like they can still have fun or be fun. They don't need to be getting drunk with you. Is it like we all feel bad about ourselves because we need alcohol, so like we want everybody
almost
to be
kind of
included? Or
it's very much like a mirror that's being held up in front of you when like if somebody's sober and not drinking, and it's like, no, like look how much you're actually drinking. And
because what are your thoughts when somebody says like, well, I can have fun without alcohol, like I don't need alcohol to have fun?
My first reaction is like, go fuck yourself. But then my second reaction is like, I wish I could do that.
I think that like in early like post college, there was one girl that I worked with that was sober. Like she had gotten sober from alcohol and Adderall. And it definitely made me uncomfortable because it was like very much a mirror. And I never, like, she was sober. So it was not like I was like, hey, you need a drink. Like, or why aren't you going to have a drink? Like, no one was asking her that. She like came out and was like, I am sober. But it was very much like a mirror to me. So I always felt like uncomfortable. And like there is definitely points in time where I was like, oh, like I don't really want to invite her out because like she's not going to drink. And like
and it makes you feel,
and you don't want to feel judged or like
we that's what we used actually. Me and like another girl, we were always like, she's so judgmental, when like I doubt she was even like judging us like that much, like maybe a little bit, but it was very much like our own interpretation of like ourselves, and she had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, definitely. Because you feel like, I mean, now I'm getting to this point where like every time I want to have a drink at home, like, and I'm not out at a restaurant or something, or even when I am at a restaurant and I order a drink, I kind of feel like I'm judging myself. Like, why do I need this? And like, I feel kind of like gross. And I think it's because like Gen Z is kind of talking a lot about how terrible alcohol is on TikTok and stuff, and a lot of Gen Z just doesn't drink alcohol.
Really?
And it's making me more aware of like,
people are being like sober curious.
Yeah, I see a lot of people that I follow trying to drink less, trying not to drink. And like even like I love JC and Chelsea, and they don't drink, and they have so much fun because alcohol isn't a part of their life at all. So they have to do fun things to have fun, whereas like I just have a drink and sit with somebody and have a drink, and that becomes fun because of the alcohol. But like,
well, it's
when
almost
you don't
like
drink, you have to like be a kid again and like figure out how to have fun.
Yeah, like when we were kids and you'd just still be like doing the dances, making up things, messing around and whatever. Yeah, and like now as adults you don't really do that unless you are drinking.
Yeah. I think I always liked that feeling. Like I was kind of always trying to get to that feeling like whenever I was going like out in college or even like after college. And like going out after college, I remember like in college it was always about like money too. So it was like who can buy me a drink or how can I get a drink for free?
It's like a game.
So it was kind of almost like a game to some degree of like who's buying me shots tonight or like who's like who's giving me out free drinks, like what bartender's going to give me free drinks tonight kind of thing. And that's the same thing after college too, because like, you know, going out is expensive. So I'm like, who's going to get me bottle service tonight? Like there is always like kind of that game with it.
I love that, honestly.
Because it was so funny. Like we went back to Michigan like a couple weekends ago, and the pitchers, we used to like scrape together our money and be like this $8 pitcher of like vodka soda or like gin and tonic. Like my go-to was like gin and tonic in college. And it was like an $8 pitcher for this massive thing, and we were like constantly scraping together money to like get that. Or
That's
like
so crazy. You can't even
cover.
get a drink for $8 these days.
I know.
Yeah. And it's just so funny like going back now and being like, oh, I got everyone's rounds. Who else wants a pitcher? Like
that is cool.
Pitcher. It is kind of fun.
But I think there was like some of that with it, but then also like just wanting to let loose and like de-stress. I remember like in college a lot of it was like de-stressing because I would like be studying so hard in school and then like be ready to like let loose and like go out and have these like crazy stories the next day.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like that was just like the plans, and it was almost like
what are we doing? We're going out tonight.
Yeah, it was like drinking. We wanted to be perceived, or in high school at least, I guess, as older. Like we wanted to be more adult-like or something, or like we always like craved being an adult, I guess, because this one time,
except for me,
this one time my friend was house sitting like right outside of his neighborhood, this like their family friend's house, and we were like, okay, we're gonna throw a party at this house that he's house sitting, but we didn't have like that many friends to throw a whole freaking party, so there was literally like 8 of us, and then probably 5 and then we invited like maybe a few more boys besides that. And we bought all those, like, you know, those necklaces that have the shot glasses on them.
Yeah.
We bought those. We bought like 20 of those. I stole a whole handle of vodka from my dad, like a giant handle. And then we got a 50-pack of condoms. Why? I don't know. Literally none of us were having sex. So I don't know what the plan was for that. And we're like getting ready for the party. We're all hanging out. We're like, he had to go to work. So he was at work. And then I was just like with my friend Kyra, and who else was there? My friend Will. And we were like getting ready. Me and Kyra were in the shower, and we hear a man's voice in the house. And we go, who the fuck is that? Like, who is that? And we just like keep hearing it. So we wrap a towel around us really quick and we like start to walk out. The boy who was house sitting, his dad was in the house. And we were like, hi. And we like tried to hide all the stuff on the counter, but we like did not hide it in time, and we like fully got caught. He was like, you guys need to leave now. Like they called the owner of the house and they were like, you guys need to leave. And so literally I'm in a towel in the car, like we're fully naked, drive home to my mom's house. And then I just start crying, like, as soon as we got to my mom's house, because then I obviously had to tell her. And my grandma was there. And then I was like, I feel so bad that I have to tell my grandma this, like, that I had all this alcohol and what, like, our plans were. And my grandma was like, it's okay, baby. Like, I love you so much still.
Aw.
But no, it's just, like, a funny, embarrassing story because, like, we literally didn't even end up doing anything. But we just had, like, we always wanted to do like Project X. Also, remember that movie?
Oh my God, yes.
That was a huge thing of like why we wanted to like drink and party and have like these big high school parties.
That movie just stressed me out.
It kind of is really stressful. I think I only like went to one party ever. That was maybe 1/4 of that.
I remember the first time that I got like really drunk and loved it. I was in Tucson. I came down for Halloween to visit my friends at U of A, and we had Four Locos.
Oh God!
But it was back when Four Locos had like all of that caffeine in it too, before they had to like before it became literally illegal. And I had so much fun. Like, I was such a different person. Did you go to the frats? I don't think so. My friends weren't like in sororities or anything. I think we went to like house parties. I don't even know. I was drunk and I did not know where we were.
That's scary.
I was having so much fun. I don't think I was really that hungover the next day. I was dressed like Lady Gaga with a disco bra on.
Cute.
I was just having so much fun. And I think I started to realize like, oh, I'm fun when I drink.
Yeah.
And then also I started having all these friends, like guy friends, like one of my sister's best friends, her boyfriend started telling me like, oh, you're so fun when you're drunk. I love drunk Devon and stuff. And like, actually, honestly, a lot of people told me that. I love drunk Devon. You're such a fun drunk. And so it starts telling you like, oh, I'm not fun when I'm sober.
Yeah.
It made me start feeling like whenever I was with these people that I'm like kind of uncomfortable with, I need to drink because otherwise I'm not fun and they don't like me because I'm boring when I'm not drinking, basically.
I kind of forgot about that. That's such a like, people would always talk about like your drunk alter ego or like who you were then, and like it would be funny or like to tell stories or like other things like that. And it was almost like, okay, we are gonna go out and get drunk together because we're like so fun to, and like that was even some of my friends in college too, like we're so fun when we're drunk together. Like that's like the vibe that we're going for.
Yeah, I truly like become a different person when I'm drunk. If I'm around people that like, if I were to meet strangers and I was drunk, they would not know me. Like they would, I don't know. But then again, like when I'm comfortable with people, I'm able to be that person, I feel like. But
exactly.
Being able to be around people that I don't know or am not comfortable with, I need to drink.
Yeah, like because it makes you feel better and more comfortable in a lot of situations.
Yeah, I think it just like turns off some switch in your brain that is always stopping you from overthinking or whatever.
Yeah.
And making you unable to talk to people. And it also just makes everything seem more fun. Like, because I will get bored really easily if I'm not drinking and I'll want to go home. But so then I'm like, I need a drink to be able to enjoy this conversation or this dinner or whatever. Because like, otherwise I'm bored.
I think I like transitioned to that thought process like more as an older adult, like from 17 to 22 was probably where I was like throwing up more binge drinking. Like we'd only drink once a week probably, but like the time that I would drink once a week, it would be like till I was throwing up and going to bed with the spins and feeling horrible. But then like but then COVID happened like when I was 22 or 21 it started. So then, or 22, yeah. So I felt like then it turned to more the social situations of meeting new people and then just feeling more comfortable, I guess, with like just a few drinks. But I stopped drinking as much. Like I haven't thrown up in years.
Yeah.
That I recall.
I'm like trying to think.
It's true.
Accidentally get too drunk. I mean, because you're never intending. Like it's never your goal. And then you're like, fuck, I don't feel good. Oh my god, that's the worst.
Have you guys blacked out? I've never blacked out in my whole life.
I have.
Yes, in Mexico.
In Mexico.
Definitely never intentional things.
Yeah.
But I think one thing too, like in Chicago, I think I always was trying, like I was aware that I was in a city and I was aware that I was like prone to like dangerous situations if I was too drunk or blacked out.
That's very true.
And so I would still get drunk and like get to that feeling, but I also like kind of always had like a stopping point because I never wanted to like be fully out of control. Because like in 3 of my apartments, or like 2 of my apartments, I had like doormen, and like I had to navigate my way to my apartment. It wasn't like just a door to get to. Like I'd have to like make my way to my apartment.
And it was like in the city, like you weren't like on the college campus where it was like a smaller.
Exactly. So I definitely felt like there's more risk there, and so I was always like trying to be more aware of like my surroundings and situations.
Yeah, that makes a lot. I didn't think about that at all. Like me and Cameron and Aaron, our house was literally on University, so like we'd go out, we'd drink on University and walk 2 minutes home. So it was like always did feel safe kind of. And I'd be with boys, so I also felt safe.
Yeah. That's also a scary thing about drinking as a woman that you have to be conscious of.
Very much so.
So do you guys feel like you need to drink now, like in social situations? Do you feel like, how are your thoughts and feelings on alcohol now?
Well, I feel like that kind of the whole beginning of this year, I guess I was drinking more, or like maybe throughout COVID even too, of like just more frequently, where I'd be like, okay, I want a glass of wine after work, or like I want to drink on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, COVID made me start, like, I would have a White Claw after work every day to like separate the day from work to night. And it became like I'm romanticizing my night. Like, this is my fun little thing that I get to do tonight, is have a drink. And then like one White Claw stopped working, so then I would need like 2 White Claws. I hate White Claws now, and they don't even give me a buzz anymore.
That's like, I feel like that happened to me. Like, so mine kind of started during my interview process for my like last job. It was like a very stressful time, so like I would unwind and like prep for my interviews like with a glass of wine. And then that became kind of like a habit. Like wine and like after work and like relaxing and de-stressing became much more of a habit of like, oh, I really want a glass of wine, or oh, I want a couple glasses of wine like after work. And I made that more of a habit. And then COVID happened, and it was like very easy to like have 3 or 4 glasses of wine instead of
it's
just
hard
like
to stop once you start having one.
Yeah.
Because it just like, it tastes good, and it like just, I don't know. And
it starts tasting
was
even
like
better.
Something I didn't even like think about too hard until like a couple years ago, like looking back on it and being like, oh, that's like not a healthy like way to deal with my stress and my emotions and my like frustrations.
Yeah, like seeing these TikToks that are like, alcohol is poison. Did you know every time you drink alcohol, you're drinking poison? And every time you drink alcohol, you're taking this many years off of your life, and blah, blah, blah. And so that type of stuff too is like, oh, fuck.
The taste part is
why do we choose to
poison ourselves?
Like, okay, I don't care if I'm poisoning myself. This is fun. Like, why? I don't know.
Yeah. But like you're saying, in college, I didn't like the taste of alcohol. I wasn't like, ooh, I want a glass of wine or whatever. So I think once I started to then like white wine and then like light cider, then I was like, oh, I actually like enjoy the taste of it rather than I'm just using it as a means to get drunk.
Yeah. Also, like, our parents do that. Like, we learned from them, like, oh, my mom will come home from work and have a glass of wine. Or, you know, like, it's an adult thing to do. So if everybody else is doing it, it's not bad.
Yeah. I didn't grow up with that. My parents don't really, my mom doesn't drink like at all. And
but
my
if you watch
dad
TV,
would maybe have a beer.
Like, you know that's what adults do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in every movie at the end of the day, or like having an old fashioned or something.
Right.
My like social drinking is kind of different, I think, because I don't necessarily drink to like be more talkative or like interactive with people, but I just drink to like also drink because people are like having drinks. So I, up until like this year, felt so uncomfortable if like I was out and didn't like anything that was on the menu and like still had to drink, or like didn't really feel like drinking. Like I was like, okay, everyone else is drinking, so I need
it's for like the fit in thing. Do you also think it's like because they're not going to think of you as cool, or they're going to think you're boring or lame if you don't get a drink?
Not as much. I think definitely sometimes like the boring or lame thing was part of it, but it was more just like everyone else is drinking, so like I need to be drinking too. Like there wasn't really an option of like, oh, you don't actually need a drink in this situation.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird thing to like rewire. Like this whole year I've been like really working on it of like, I don't actually want to drink tonight, so I'm not going to. And it's something I have to like think about consciously before I go out of like, oh, I have a lot to do in the morning, or like, oh, I just don't really want to drink tonight. And just then getting into the situation, I'm like, okay, I have to remember that and make a conscious effort about it. And like it gets more and more easy, but it's still kind of a process. And there's little things that have helped where I'm like, especially because I'm very particular about like what I want to drink, that I'm like, I'm not spending money or drinking something that like I don't even think tastes good. Like I don't like beer and I don't like shitty cocktails. So like I'm not going to go buy those things if that's all that's on the menu.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like for me, the social drinking now is way more like if I'm with my old friends and I'm visiting home, then it's like, oh, this is a special occasion. We only do this at once every a few times a year. So we're going to go out and drink. And then when I'm with new friends here, I would almost have the fear of like, oh, are we not drinking? Then it's like uncomfortable to have conversations, or especially if it's a one-on-one situation, then that would like give me anxiety before hanging out of like, oh, if they're not drinking, like if I can't drink too, then that I'll feel uncomfortable and I won't know what to say and I won't be able to keep conversation and all of that.
Yeah, it's like if I'm not drinking, I literally have nothing to say. I don't know what to say. But then as soon as I have like a couple sips of alcohol, I'm like, I love everybody. Let's talk about everything.
Yeah. But also like with you guys, I don't feel like I need to drink like to talk, obviously. I mean, we talk like hours all the time.
We were still drinking. And when we were drinking, it made it even more fun. Like, I don't know. Like for me recently in the past, maybe since COVID, my vacations have become about drinking. Like we wake up, we have a mimosa, and then we keep it going all day long. Like we don't get fucked up or anything, but alcohol is like taking place the entire time because that's what because it's a vacation and it's fun. But then it's also like, remember when we didn't drink at all? Like when I was in my Ellie Goulding phase and like traveling the world, I didn't even drink ever.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden it's like, especially when I'm with my family, with my cousin, we're like, okay, let's drink, let's get a drink, let's have a drink. It's just like revolves around drinking. I remember when we went camping on the Oregon coast with my dad and uncle and my cousins, and I was really into photography back then, and I wanted to go to Cannon Beach and take pictures with the haystack rock and stuff, and like I wanted to go explore. And my dad and uncle, all they wanted to do was find a bar and get a drink.
Yeah.
And I was so annoyed that our whole trip had to revolve around them having to have a drink in their hand the whole time. And I just like, but now it's like I've kind of turned into that.
Yeah.
Like I would rather get a drink.
I think that there's like a good balance that can be striked for like both things, because that was kind of like on our Florida Keys vacation. Like I was working in the mornings and like trying to just do different things, and then on the weekends Joe like wanted to go explore and like get a drink and then go to the pool and like get drinks and then go out and get drinks. But like my like biggest thing now is that like alcohol really fucks my like entire system. And
you gotta get those Z-biotics.
So selective.
Dude, I left the party pills with you.
I took one. Really upset about I tested one out on Saturday night because we went out for my mom's birthday, and I was like, okay, these worked really well in Palm Springs. I need to see if they actually work. So I was like, I ordered like I probably got 6 drinks at this bar that we were at because I was like, I need to see if these pills actually work.
But you took it before.
Okay. And I woke up the next day perfectly fine. Like
I told you, it's fucking magic. I took them in Vegas too. Like it is literally.
And you weren't hungover at all?
No, it's literally a magic pill.
Yes.
Sorry, finish your thought, Britt.
I have to try those, but like even those things like stopped working for me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it also could be maybe you run out of it. Like maybe your body gets used to it or something.
Well, it's just like a big thing is it affects my stomach so much, but then that affects my mood. So like my stomach not feeling right. So like I rarely get like headaches anymore from drinking. It's all in my stomach. And then it like just affects my mood and like how I function and like if I want to do something. So it's kind of like even like in Palm Springs after like our Thursday night or Friday night out, I was just like not myself the next day.
Yeah.
And it just like sucked a lot. And so and I get like more anxiety, I get more brain fog, and I'm just not productive. Like I'm just not able to like turn it on. And so that's a lot of what I think about, even more than like the social thing, or like, am I going to be seen as lame because I'm not drinking? Like those things don't even cross my mind as much because like I just feel so shitty the next day that's like taking more precedent over all of the other things. And I just like want to feel better. So it's like this,
because in college it doesn't matter. Like you can just lay in bed the whole next day and it's fine for you to just be hungover.
Exactly.
I think that pill does help the stomach thing the most because like in Vegas I still had a headache sometimes, but like usually like I'll full have diarrhea the whole next day of drinking, but like that pill doesn't fuck up my stomach whatsoever.
Yeah,
I'll have to try it. Even just I feel like because even now, like even if I just have like a couple glasses of wine or like 2 cocktails, my stomach is kind of like, what's happening? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So, but I think it's hard because like in those situations where like it's still like kind of uncomfortable when somebody else is like really drunk and you're like more sober. Like those kind of things are worst. Like I still think that's kind of a tough scenario to be in because it's like you can still have a conversation and everything, but like when they're no longer able to converse with you or like
they keep telling you the same thing over and over again,
hang out, like that's annoying to me.
It is.
So that's where like the drunkenness I think gets to be a difficult thing because you like want to be fun, right? But then you don't want to like be annoyed with somebody who's drinking.
Yeah, my aunt is sober now. She's gonna listen to this. She listens to all of our podcasts. Hi, Aunt Julie. My sister goes up to her while my sister's drunk off her ass, and she's like, "I have no idea how you're sober. Like, I have no idea how you're doing this. Like, what the fuck?" But like, I'm sure that's so annoying. Like, you're sober. She's doing incredible. She's like so amazing. And then my drunk ass siblings are just like, how are you doing that?
I'd be like, I don't really know because you're really annoying me.
Yeah.
You're making me want to drink.
Exactly. But I feel like like in several situations, like when our friends visited us last September, there was one night where I like didn't really drink at all. And one of our friends has been drinking a lot less or he'll drink not at all. And then when somebody else is doing that, then it makes me feel more comfortable to also drink less, basically. Then on those nights, I always feel better. Like on one night in Vegas, my cousin gave me an edible and I only drank like 2 drinks before that. And that was the best night I had the whole trip, like because I was just having fun and I wasn't overly drunk or anything. And then I felt great the next day and everyone else felt like shit. And then I'm like, oh, that was so fun. And like, I really enjoyed drinking less and I had a great time. I enjoy the end of the night coming home and like not having the spins and not like just needing to go to bed immediately and like actually doing my skincare and like just having a clearer head. It feels nice. So like, I think I am doing that more. But then like in Palm Springs, that one night where like I had like an unnecessary drink at the end of the night. Like, why?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Sometimes I'll do that. Like, I'll just have one more, and then it's like, what? I didn't need to do that.
For sure. That's what I think. Like, because like even when I'm like, I remember I think in Chicago, I like there was like an open bar, and I like wasn't really consciously thinking about like the drinks that I was having, and so I just kept getting another like Aperol Spritz, just like another one, just a refill, and like it just gets to be. You like forget like what you're drinking kind of,
and you forget that it takes a while to actually kick in, so then you're like, well, I feel not that drunk right now. That's and then like the last drink kicks in.
Sorry, I just cocked over
but
you.
I think like if I don't know what like the best situation is, but like I think being able to like hang out with people that kind of know their limits with alcohol can be really fun, but the people that like don't know their limits anymore, that's where like it starts to not be as fun to be like the more sober or like not like just drinking less type of person.
I think I've really learned my limit and my type of alcohol that I tolerate, but I feel like that's actually been a bad thing because when I used to get sick all the time, like hungover, I would like not drink because I didn't want to be sick the next day. Like I went through a phase where I was like, I'm not drinking. But now that I'm like, okay, I like having wine. Wine does not ever make me feel sick the next day. And I'm going to have wine every single night. I'm always going to have a bottle of wine in my fridge because it's fun to cook dinner and drink wine. And then like my body almost started relying on it because I'd be like, oh, I'm kind of in a bad mood and I don't want to cook dinner. I'll have a glass of wine and then I'll be in a better mood. And like, especially when I was going through my depression earlier this year, I was like, I need wine to make me feel better. And then I'm like, oh my God, this doesn't even make me feel better. I still feel like shit. And
drink more maybe. And like, it'll
have another drink because it's going to be fun if I drink. And Yeah, like I have this thing where I always want to be happy and always in a good mood.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm always like, well, I need something to put me in a good mood, to keep me in a good mood, because I always want to be having fun and whatever.
Yeah. I think I didn't know that I was depressed like during COVID, when I was like really depressed in COVID, and I didn't realize like how much I was relying on alcohol to like make me feel better. And then like reflecting on it, I was like, wow, you were really depressed and like using that as a crutch like throughout that whole thing.
Do you guys know how long you've gone being sober? Like, have you done any period of like, I'm not going to drink for this certain amount of time and done that?
I think I did like
a
3
month
months this
last
year.
3
like,
months?
Maybe I had like a couple drinks, but I think
that's very impressive. A month is too.
Yeah. I did a month, I think, last year, and it was over Easter, I think. So my family got together on Easter, and my uncle on my mom's side is also like, everybody have a drink. He drinks a lot. And I was like, no. And I was like proud of myself for not drinking on that family gathering, because like I always have to drink with my family to be happy.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's good.
I definitely started like when I started journaling more and like having more healthy outlets for my emotions and stress and everything. That's where I've like started associating like, okay, I'm not going to drink if I'm like feeling like shit. Like, because I took away that association, because like I was doing that. I'm like, oh, I had a bad day. Or like, oh, I did something really good today, I'm gonna have a drink. Or like, oh, I'm doing this. So like then it's like almost every situation that it was like I want to have a drink. And now I think for the most part it's because like I like the taste of it, or like I want to try a new cocktail out, or like get creative with it. And that's a lot more, I just feel a lot better like having that association with alcohol, instead of
I like that,
like I need this, because now it's not like I need it, it's just like I want it because it like tastes, because I want to like create a cool cocktail, or like, oh, this tastes good. And that overall just makes me feel a lot better about my relationship with alcohol, and I feel like I have a much healthier relationship with it now.
Because also when you're living with someone, and like you said, like if you had a bad day or you're in a bad mood, and then you're like, well, I don't want to like ruin the whole rest of the night or stay in my bad mood, so then I want a drink to make that better or something. But I feel like I'm in the same place. Like we don't keep alcohol in the house anymore. I'm not like drinking on weekdays or like even on weekends. It's like literally just so like if we go do something social or like go out or go to a restaurant, that's like still my struggle, I guess. That's hard for me to be like I want to do a month of being sober, like, oh, do from Vegas to Christmas time or something. But then I always think about like, oh, but then this thing is happening or then this activity is happening and I'll have to drink at that. But like, you don't have to.
Yeah. I think it was really hard this summer because I'd gone like basically from like December to like May of not really drinking that much. And then this summer, like it was just social gatherings, or like we went out more in the city, because like before we were going like skiing more, and we might have like a cocktail on the mountain, but we're also like skiing a ton, so like we don't want to feel like shit the next day. And then the summer like really switched for me, and I definitely, that's like something that kind of presented to be more of a challenge than I like anticipated it.
I think that's like very common for normal life, is that like the spring, summer, you start going out more, you're drinking, there's social activities multiple times a week even. And then like the winter, you start being more in your house, just cozy. You're not hanging out with people as much. But then COVID fucked that up because we were only in our house. So then it was like, oh, we're now including this as part of the drinking.
Yeah.
My current challenge is I stopped keeping alcohol in my house. So I don't drink at home, but I allow myself to drink when I go to my mom's house or my dad's house for dinner. And I do that once or twice a week. So I get to my mom's house and I'm like, I need wine.
Where the wine?
Like literally, I will go to my mom's house and I'll just sit there quietly and they'll be like nobody's really talking and I'm kind of bored. I have a sip of wine and then I'm like, boop, 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 talking so much. And like, that's why I feel bad about drinking, I think.
But then it's like weighing the pros and cons of that and the health of it, And then like also there's so much about mental health, and then I'm like, oh, even long-term wise, what is it doing for my anxiety and depression, even if I'm not drinking so frequently, but it's still in my system and everything. How much is that fucking up versus if I was fully sober? You never hear of anyone going sober and being like, I feel bad.
Yeah.
That has never happened.
For sure.
Like
I mean,
everyone's
Deb,
like,
when
this
you
is
say
amazing.
like I'm allowing myself though, like does that kind of like make you almost feel bad? Because like
that seems like a diet thing or something.
You're like allowed to or you're not allowed to versus like I want to and I'm like making a conscious choice to.
Yeah, I think because of all the things I've been seeing lately, like I feel like drinking is bad.
Yeah.
Especially because like some people in my life that drink, like I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel like I'm being like that when I drink. I don't want to be like have a problem or a reliance on alcohol. And also it annoys me because I feel like I have to have it in order to fucking talk to my family and have fun. Like that's annoying. Why I used to not drink. Like why do I now need alcohol to talk?
Do a lot of people still say like, oh my God, Devon, you're so fun when you're drunk? Or like, we love drunk Devon?
People do say, like, I definitely said when I met you the first time, like, oh, you were more socializing with everyone than I thought that you were because you were drinking.
Yeah, and so, I like that. I like that I can go out and talk to anybody when I'm drinking.
Yeah, that's why it's like hard of the pros and cons. It's like, is that long term? Is that even bad for you, or is that worth it? It's like eating bad food and everything. It's like obviously you know these things can be bad for you, but is that worth it?
And also, how many times am I going out and socializing? Like twice a year. The problem is, I guess, like it's just annoying that I feel like I'd need it and I don't want to rely on anything. That's the annoying thing.
Yeah.
And that's like, what is the technical definition of like alcoholic? I think it's like, yeah, maybe we should look that up. Like the actual definition. Because originally I always thought it was like having one drink or more per day. That's technically like, I don't know if that's
Dax
having a problem.
Shepard explains it as like not being able to stop. Like he would have one drink and then 2 days later he'd wake up
Want Coke
after having a binging Coke night and then going to, like crazy shit.
I was talking with my aunt and my mom about this the last time I was home because I don't feel like so reliant on I guess I feel like I need to in social settings, but I don't feel like, oh, I need a drink. Like I've never experienced that with alcohol, but I do know that like if I were to try Xanax, like I've never done Xanax because I almost know that I would be addicted to that. Like I know that feeling I would be reliant on that, but I've never felt that with alcohol.
So it says a chronic disease characterized by uncontrolled drinking and preoccupation with alcohol. Alcoholism is the inability to control drinking due to both a physical and emotional dependence on alcohol.
I think a lot of mental illness always leads back to like the obsessive thoughts. Like eating disorders is obsessive, anxiety is obsessive, depression is obsessive thoughts. And I feel like that's kind of like a major characteristic of alcohol is always thinking about like, when am I going to have my next drink? When can I have my next drink?
I get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like that at all.
Me
I've never felt like that. It'd be more, when are we hanging out type of thing. Yeah. Like, when am I having social plans?
Yeah. But I think it's like an interesting thing of just like the habitual things that you can kind of create. Because a lot of people are like, weed isn't addictive, but I think like it's a lot of the time it's a very habitual thing that like habits. The funny thing about habits is like your brain is actually not like really firing when you're performing a habit. Your brain is no longer firing like neurons the way it is, and that's why it's so hard to break the habit because it's so like ingrained in your brain. That was like one of the most interesting things. There's like a book on it. The power of habits or something, I think it's called.
That makes a lot of sense because you don't even think about the habits, like you just naturally do them.
Yeah, like they scan your brain, and your brain is not really functioning like when you're performing a habit.
And that's why they say so much that you want to like break routines and shake up your brain.
Yeah,
and everything.
And so that's why I think it's like really hard. Like you even like food, like you can make sort of like a habitual thing, like and that's where I think there's like a big difference between like alcoholism and just breaking the habit or breaking the like kind of routines that you create with alcohol.
Yeah.
And also I think like we rely on a ton of things all the time. Like, I mean, everybody wakes up and has caffeine in the morning.
Yeah. Caffeine is definitely habitual for me.
Yeah. And it's like, but I just think because alcohol is just such a negative thing that, and because up there are alcoholics, it makes me feel like gross and bad for drinking sometimes.
I think it's good though that there are so many more conversations about alcohol and more like awareness about alcohol. I like that there's more conversations about it. I like that there's more sober curious people. I like that there's more drink alternatives to it. Like my sister's now sober, and like when we went to 2 different bars, they had an amazing cocktail menu that was
that helps so much.
That was mocktails. And they were like legit cocktails. Like they were pretty, they were photographable. Like I think that makes a huge difference. And like knowing more people that are sober, I really appreciate that that's like becoming more of a market for people as well.
Yeah.
Because now there's not as much of like a pressure around people. Like you can like consciously make a decision not to drink or drink.
Yeah. And that also helps for like the habit portion.
Yeah.
Because when I took a month off drinking, I was buying like 0 alcohol beer just to like, it tastes exactly the same.
Really?
And it fulfills that habit that you feel like, for example, if I don't eat dinner, I will not sleep because I need to eat dinner every day.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'll be thinking about it the whole time. Like, you didn't eat dinner, you're hungry, you're going to be hungry. And I won't be able to sleep if I don't eat dinner. And I feel like that's similar with like, it could be similar with alcoholics and like drinking and stuff. So if you just have like an NA beer, it literally, your brain thinks it's the same thing. Like it tells you that you've completed that habit loop or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And you can move on. Stop obsessing over it.
Have you ever like had non-alcoholic beers or like non-alcoholic wine when you're like out with people or like with your family? Do you think that like it could almost scratch the same itch for you?
When I'm like, so when I'm out to dinner or whatever, I don't really need it. But like at my mom's house, I've had like an NA beer with my family. And yeah, it felt the same.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if I was like more social or whatever.
Yeah. That'd be an interesting experiment.
I do want to try those like drinks that have like nootropics and shit. Or even like the
what are they called?
They have CBD drinks and they also have like THC drinks.
Oh yeah.
Which would be interesting. There's a bunch of different brands now. There's
Recess is one, right?
Yes, Recess.
What is it called again? Like I know it's CBD, but there's something else in them too.
Nootropics? I don't know. Because they're like mood boosters.
Yeah. I thought they had a different name.
Adaptogens.
Adaptogens, that's the word.
Yeah. Hemp and adaptogens. I don't know what hemp is. Is that CBD?
Yeah, people call it hemp when they're selling it online. I would like to try that.
That habit that you feel like you need to have a drink could be fulfilled by like NA alcohol or.
But like that's what I wonder is can it? Like I think it's kind of like replacing weed or cigarettes or whatever, like with another thing, or like it's the mouth fixation or just trying to do the same thing. But then I also wonder if you'd have the drink and then be like, well, I'm not getting the same effect. But sometimes
if
it's
you're
just
like
as nice
out
for
at
me.
a club, it's not going to suffice. But like if you're used to having a drink every night after work and then you have a NA beer or whatever, non-alcoholic wine or something, I feel like it will suffice.
Like sometimes when I have a Dr. Pepper while I cook, I'm like, oh, this is almost as nice as a wine. Like just pouring a special drink.
Yeah.
I think just like having something in your hand while you're like out and being social, just like evens everything out. Like most people don't even realize you're like not drinking.
In Vegas, I had a water a lot.
It's like something, like just having a straw. Like it's something to do. It's like how in the 60s and 70s and 80s, like people were smoking all day long because it was just something to do.
Yeah.
It's like stimulating.
Yeah. It's we went to a Prohibition bar in Vegas, and they had like video of like the Prohibition playing, and it was all like old fashioned themed. And I was talking with my brother-in-law about like, I wonder if alcohol would ever be outlawed again in the future. Like if
there's no way.
It's just so interesting.
I think those companies are too big now.
I mean, sure. And as we're legalizing so many drugs, there's no way that all of a sudden they'd be like,
yeah. But it's just so interesting that like we know how bad it is for bodies and how like it literally kills so many people every single year, alcoholism. But at the same time, it's very much the most celebrated. Let's go out to a bar. There's so many drinks. It's very binge drinking society. But like with other drugs or whatever, it's like that's not the case.
And every social thing that you do as an adult revolves around drinking.
Yeah.
That's why I've been like, I love pickleball because it's like, it doesn't involve drinking. It's just like an active, fun game to play as an adult. But everything else is like, let's go here and get drinks. Let's go here and have drinks. This is a really cool bar. This place has really good drinks. Like,
well, I was thinking that when you're talking about Canada Beach and like your family vacation, I do think it has to do a lot with like less activities, or like when you're just like, I don't know what to do, or like, are we going to play a board game, or like do an escape room, or there's not a lot of adult activities besides bars and restaurants.
That's one of the reasons why we moved out of Chicago, because that was literally like the top things to do there. And even that was maybe like why this summer, like I kind of got annoyed that like that was like just a kind of rinse and repeat thing that we were doing. And I was like, wait, like I can drive 30 minutes to go on like a hike. Like that's not that big of a deal. Because we were driving like an hour plus to go skiing all the time in the winter.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I think that
it's summer. Easier though. Like that's very true. On a Saturday, I'm like, okay, I'd rather just go down the road and go to brunch than like drive to this hike and go on a hike. Even though I get more satisfaction after the hike for sure than after going to brunch.
Yeah. But it's just creating like a new way of doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're so habitual. I mean, that's if you stop drinking, it will be hard at first, but then your brain will readjust.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys have any like goals with drinking or things that you want to change from right now?
I kind of want to try those adaptogen drinks to see if maybe they would.
I like where I'm at right now, and I think I just want to keep solidifying like not drinking when I don't want to, like when I'm out in social settings.
I agree. Like I just want to keep drinking less, like just not getting drunk every single time I drink.
Yeah. You know what I want to do is start doing activities that don't revolve around drinking more. Like let's have fun like when we were kids.
But that's even hard because like now like if you go do an escape room, or if we went axe throwing, or all these activities, it still is like, well, let's get a drink before.
I know.
Like, so that is still something I would need to change in my mind of like.
But I think that's okay.
That defeats the purpose.
No, but the purpose is like doing activities that aren't just drinking. Like I feel like just as adults, we stop doing anything because we just sit around and have a drink, and it's like it's not boring, but our 10-year-old selves would be like, holy fuck, that's so boring. Like I want to be doing things and experiencing things more.
Yeah, I agree. Let us know. Oh, freak, I want to ask about alcohol though for people, but we already said that we'd ask about. We can do two. I think we'll do one poll about drinking and then the question about our podcast cover. Okay. So I'd love to know everyone else's thoughts, or you can like DM us or
let's
answer
do the
our
question
Google form.
About alcohol and then the poll about the album cover.
Yes.
Oh,
and then the only options will be love it.
About alcohol, and like this kind of goes to like therapy and journaling and everything else, is like using it as I used to use it way more as a tool to like not feel my emotions.
Yes.
Because I was so uncomfortable with them. I was so uncomfortable with my like brain. And when I started like sitting down with my thoughts and emotions and feelings and like feeling more comfortable talking about them and sharing them, it was just this like weight that was released. and helped a lot with like not feeling like, okay, I need a drink at the end of the day, because I was like actually dealing with my shit and like processing it. And yeah,
that's what I kind of feel I've replaced with like podcasts and things, because it's like just using other things to not feel feelings in the current moment and put yourself in a different conversation.
Yeah, feelings are uncomfortable, but I think
it really
the more practice, the easier it gets.
Yeah, I think I'm still really bad at that. Like even right now I'm like trying to do it a little bit and I'm getting uncomfortable.
Yeah. Anytime I feel uncomfortable, I'm like, TikTok.
Yeah.
Open TikTok.
But I think we like, honestly, on our trip, I feel like we did a really good job of like sharing a lot more of like those feelings and stuff.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is I can do that with people. It's when I'm alone.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe because it's like getting reassurance or like.
Yeah. Do you not like to journal?
It definitely helps me when I do, but I don't do it as frequently as I should.
Yeah. But you're kind of like,
And I don't feel like that necessarily. I don't sit in the feeling still. Like I think when I'm journaling, it feels like it's getting it out. I'm not sitting in the feeling. The only time I ever feel like I'm sitting in it like that is in therapy in person, where they're literally making me be silent and like only focus on that.
Yeah.
Sounds horrible.
I think I need to do.
Those are new habits we have to do together. Not together, but like hold each other accountable for.
Definitely. So let us know your thoughts on alcohol and your feelings. We'd love to hear. I think that's a very common.
It's a controversial topic, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of like strong opinions and feelings on it.
Yeah. Is there? I guess.
Yeah.
And also I think a lot of like trauma tied to it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people feel very like, if they are feeling like very judged or anything, that causes a lot of like negative emotions. Like no one wants to feel like they're doing something wrong, kind of. So if like someone's very like, alcohol is the devil, like that would make somebody like be very defensive
for
about
sure.
Yes.
And then it's interesting because I feel like actual alcoholics understand that thought process, and they're not the people who are judging like the problems with alcohol. They're more understanding of it. It's almost the people who just don't ever drink or who haven't ever.
I have gotten comments from people who are like alcoholics or stop drinking that
really
make me feel like I shouldn't be drinking. Like when I went to Colorado this year, I did a vlog and I was like, I said that I have a mimosa before I go to the airport because it makes me feel calm or whatever. And like, I think one or two people were like, that sounds like a problem. Like you shouldn't be relying on alcohol to travel twice a year. Like, okay, well then get me a Xanax, bitch.
Yeah, that's the hard part. It's like, then what else would you do to feel comfortable doing it? And then these other, like, everybody has unhealthy habits that you lean on. Everybody has crutches. It just is different for each person.
Yeah.
Like they might be shopping a lot,
but I feel like people who do have a problem with drinking put their problem onto, like, project onto other people who don't necessarily. I do think it's maybe
because they do feel so much better and whatever, and then they're like, I want you to also see that I used to be like this and now I do feel so much better being sober.
Yeah,
those are the things though. That's like somebody being in a toxic or bad relationship. Like those are things you cannot really force somebody else to see. Like that is something that they have to see on their own and come to their own conclusion on it. And
usually once they're out,
like they, like, your friend could be telling you like 1,000 things about like how bad their relationship is, but like, and you could be like, yeah, that's really fucked up, but like until they're like, I need to leave this, like they're not going to make any moves.
Yeah,
I think the more people can like have open conversations about it, that's like where progress can be made for whoever it is.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? No?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, thank you so much for listening to another episode. We hope you love our new cover. make sure you go answer the Spotify questions if you're listening on Spotify. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and at TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us a question in our Google form, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
You got to pee as well.